Hello, good day. So my name is Jonathan Wickham, and this will be my presentation for the new Simple School project. So to begin we'll start with the supporting classes differences. So in the first one, we had our person class, which was a concrete class. Now, other classes did extend this, but this class was not abstract and it didn't have an ID variable. So in this new presentation, it is now abstract. So what that means is that it won't be able to be instantiated, right? So it will not be an abstract class, but the other subclasses will now use this as a blueprint, and we will still use our inheritance. So it basically allowed me to define the shared attributes like name and ID in the base class. So, like as always, we don't have to rewrite that logic in every subclass. Now, our use of composition, right? So a clear demonstration like this would be in student. So composition instead enable me to not have to store just a teacher's ID as a plain string inside a student object. So we store the actual teacher object. So this meant that I could access all of a teacher's details directly from the student. So that is where the composition came in. Now, some of the other supporting classes, obviously, so we had a teacher as well, which obviously consisted of a teacher grade, a phone, right? We also had parent. So the parent would have an array list of type student, and the array list would be called children. We also had a string variable by the name of phone for phone number, and that is what we use in our supporting classes. So to move on, I'll now show the components of my GUI interface. So we have our input fields, the text fields with our variable names, right, instantiation, and then what we did is we used a prompt text. So what this basically did is that instead of putting a regular text and then a text field underneath, we basically did the two in one. So I have the a prompt inside of the text box, text field. So it saved a lot of space and it basically just put a little grayed out area in my text field for the user, right? You see this in many common applications, but I'll go further into this when I get to the actual GUI. And then we have the register, well, not register, add buttons to add a teacher, parent, student. This is to see all of each type, right? This is to search, this is to do searches, and this is to save and exit, which will actually perform the serialization, save it in memory. And this is just the little text area here, output area. That's a variable name. It creates a text area, and this is scrollable. So this allows the user to scroll and see all of the information that they want to see. Now this is the logic for our add buttons, more logic to add all parents, well to see all parent teachers, all parents or students. Um, this is our exit and save. And this is the VBox that I chose to use. So I choose to specifically use VBox because I like the vertical stack. I think it's very orderly. And so it's just coming down straight, and I prefer the simplicity. So this gives them the registration details that they need to put, the labels, right? This is for the labels for the actions to add a particular type, right? A teacher, a parent, and so forth. And this is for the filters and searches. And this is the um the output area and the exit button. So this is the logic for the class search, which basically does the class list. So the way this works is that this button basically takes whatever is typed in the search field and it passes it to the get students by teacher method in our school data class. So the school data would find the teacher by a name or IE, and it returns all the students assigned to them. And the results will then get looped through and it will build one string and display it in the output area. So that's the logic to display the class list. So now I'm gonna get into my file input output. So this is managed by my file manager class using binary serialization. So it has two methods. It has the save data method and it has the load data. So this would take the person's array list and it will write it to the binary file school underscore data, right? Or I should say data underscore file. Sorry. So they write it to data underscore file using the object output stream. And this will convert the entire array list and every object inside it into bytes. So the load data now, this will basically just do the reverse and it would use uh, the object import stream to read those bytes back from the file and recreate the array list. So it would also do a check on the file. And if it exists, if it doesn't, it just returns the empty array list. And um, and if it does, well, obviously it will if it exists, it will return the array list, right? Of the person array list. One further thing to note is that in order for this to work, all of our classes, supporting classes, people like person, teacher, student, object, parent, would implement serializable. So now we'll move on to the actual GUI that I created. So we'll first begin by displaying all the students. So we use our view all students button. We see we have a student, Alyssa Wickham, and then we also see we have a student, Samantha Raksha. Now we want to see all the teachers at the school. So we use our view all teachers button. We have Jonathan Wickham, and we have Robert Raksha. We'll now add a teacher. So her name, get it in here, right? We give a phone number, right? So, so we now register her. And as you can see in the box, you can see that she's registered in the display box. Now we'll add two students. So we add Alistair. So we give Alistair a name is Johnson. Right, let's just put him as Loa. Now we want to assign Alistair to Miss Temel's class. So we want to use um the teacher ID, right? So we know her ID is T6946 as displayed by the box. And then we register as student. Now we can see Urmila is the assigned teacher. So now we want to do the second student. So we add the second student now, Alison, right? And we're gonna put it now. We're gonna assign this person to one of my pre-existing teachers. So we use the view all teachers. So as you can see, we have Jonathan Wickham as a teacher. So we're gonna assign this person to Jonathan. So we're gonna use Jonathan's ID. So T9655. We register the student. So now we wanna add a parent by the name of Mark Jonas. And we're gonna do, right? We're gonna make Mark Jonas the father of Alison and Alistair. So what we do now is we put the child IDs separated by a comma. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look for the ones that we just added. So Alistair Jonas. So we start with Alistair's ID. So S9424, comma. Then we look for Alison, which is S8033, and then we register as parent. And then we see here Mark has Alistair, and Mark has Alison. So now, let's just go ahead and display all the students. We have Alyssa, we have Samantha, we have Alistair, and we have Alison. We want to display all the teachers. We have Jonathan, have Robert, we have Urmila. So what we want to do now is we want to display the class list for Allison's class. So under Allison, we could see that there's the teacher name or teacher ID. So let's go with teacher ID. So we go with what is it? T9655. Boom, show class list. We see here Alyssa Wickham, Alison Jonas. Those are the two students in Jonathan Wickham's class. So now let's say we want to display the details for Alison's parent. So we would use the find parent by child button. But before we do that, right? Before we do that, right? We want to search, we want to do this ID. So here's what we do. So let's do it by name now. So we want to find the parent details for Alison, right? So we search Alison space Jonas, find parent by child. Boom! Match. Match Jonas. And we see all his details, including the other child, the brother, Alistair. So now we want to save and exit all this new information. And then we want to do something else. We want to do some more stuff. So we go back in, and we want to add another student. So we add Mark Ramdeen. Sorry. Tag Mark Ramdeen. Right? This is another student. Put him as upper. Right? We want to add him to Miss Timol's class. Right? So we want to just view the teachers. Right? So we put in the teacher ID, her teacher ID, which is T8058. We register him. Boom. That's it there. And that's it for him. And now what we want to do, we want to display all the students last time. So this is the lineup. Alyssa, Samantha, Alistair, Allison, and Mark. Yep. And that's all the students. So now let's find Mark's class. So we know Mark has Miss Kimmel's teacher ID. So it's T8058. And we see the same class. Right? We see the class. She shares a class with Alistair. So that's about it. And that's how my code functions. Now this was quite challenging for me. So what the most challenging part was implementing the file input output. So getting all the objects to save and load correctly, it took a lot of trial and error. In terms of my approach, I think next time I would plan the structure on actual paper without writing any code because I had to restructure a lot of things mid-project, right? Because there were some things like assigning multiple children to one parent and so forth that I really didn't, think about. The three most helpful resources were the course notes from my lecturer, the official Java documentation on the Oracle website, and YouTube tutorials on the various ways to do JavaFX and file handling and serialization and so forth. So thanks for listening, and this was my presentation. Goodbye.